Добрый день, наше уважаемое сообщество ТАМОС. На протяжении 5 дней наша школа проходила следующий этап предварительного визита. То есть у нас в школе очень усердно работали 2 международных эксперта, которые проверяли школу по 8-9 разным критериям и пришли к определенным выводам согласно нашей школы. И мы бы хотели сегодня организовать такой диалог с мистером Лео о том, какая польза будет прежде всего для нашей школы, наших учащихся и в целом нашего сообщества. So today we would like to run a simple dialogue, an interview with Mr. Leo. Welcome, and to ask some very important questions about this accreditation process in general in our school.
Salam, my pleasure to be here, and my pleasure also to be in Almaty, Kazakhstan, at the wonderful school which is TAMOS Education.
Yeah, great, thank you. So one of the important questions I think come to this distinction point between CIS accreditation, Council of International Schools, and inspection. That's one of the serious questions which I think most of us have in mind. So could you please explain the difference?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. Actually, inspection and what we call accreditation or evaluation are 2 different things. But it's very easy for people to get confused, and particularly if you're used to inspection, which is very much a top-down process of compliance check. Often people go through a list of things and it's a single event. It's very different to what we have and what we work with in terms of the model with CIS. We try and work in what we call the green zone. So this is something which has been translated, I think it's into Russian, is this, and this is the English version. So the nature of inspection regimes, we call them, is that usually requirements, usually often from governments, and a group of inspectors come into a school and they have a list of questions and they do a rating. What CIS does, it's much more of a strategic partnership where we work with schools over the long term. We really want schools to be successful. We really want schools to become the best version of themselves, but in their context, because schools are very different, and CIS works with, I think at last count, more than 900 schools in about 123 different countries. And so it's very important to understand schools and work closely with them, and also to appreciate the strengths of schools. There's always really wonderful, good things going on about learning and well-being and areas like global citizenship. So this is a process where we partnership with the schools. We come in as guides by the side, we're equals. We're not coming in to use power, but we're coming in to use positive influence because that's how we feel people work best. We do have very high standards. Our standards are international, and we've been developing them over 45 years of evolution. And we learn from the best schools in the world, and we benchmark and share that knowledge. So we try and work in the way which will be helpful for a school and support them in achieving their mission and their vision and living their values.
Thank you. So I think it's a great message for all of us to realize and understand that CIS body, CIS accreditation, is our strategic partner, which will help the TAMOS community to become even stronger, more developed, and more helpful towards its own community.
Very much so. We hope so.
Yeah,
thank you.
Another important question is what would be direct and obvious benefits for our students, and of course we can also add parents and our staff. What would be the benefits of undergoing this process of accreditation?
Great, it's a really important question, because why would you spend this time and this energy and this effort and the resources that are required to do this unless there's a really significant benefit? What is really important to understand is what drives CIS as an organisation is very similar to the mission and the vision for TAMOS. We all want really high quality learning for students because it's a school. It's about doing the best for children. I'm a parent as well, you're a parent, and talking to parents as well. If we're not doing the best for children, then what's the point of education? So it's really about preparing students for their futures. So we create lots of opportunities for children and give them choice. And I think it's something TAMOS is doing really, really well. And we've been pleasure talking to students, talking to parents and staff all week long and learning about these opportunities. But it's a bit more than that. We know that well-being and high quality learning are very connected. So if we don't support the well-being of children, make them feel safe, secure, having friends, feeling mentally stable and emotionally stable, then it's very hard for them to learn. So we spend a lot of our time focusing on the well-being of the child, and that helps them to grow and succeed and thrive. And another really big benefit actually of this process is what we call global citizenship, but in a local context. There's a lovely country of Kazakhstan with 130 different ethnicities, but we also not only respect the local culture and the language and the arts, we also look about appreciating other cultures and students learning skills, not just languages, but the ability to interact globally with different cultures. That also helps them with teamwork building skills and will make them more employable in the future. So there's many benefits. It's not just what we call the badge or the status of becoming an accredited school. That's an assurance to parents and to staff that this is a serious quality organisation. It's really also about improving the school so it's the best version of itself in the service of children.
Yeah, thank you again. It is very important again to underline that for us, for TAMOS, CIS is not just a badge or just a certificate which we will boast about and put it on the wall. It's much deeper than that. And it was very inspiring to see our children these days being very happy, and that's what our critical friends saw this week. Very happy children in a very safe environment, and therefore they can learn and be very productive. Helping them to become the citizens of the world is very important for us as a TAMOS community, and we've already we had so many graduates who are now successfully continuing their education in universities all over the world. Yeah, so thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Some of the activities I thought I would show you that we've been doing this week is talking to students and really finding out how it's working here. What ways does the school support them for things like their well-being? We've been talking to them about what they really appreciate. So, sorry, there's a lot of noise there, dropping things on the floor. But what I love, this is just a small group of students we met right at the beginning of the week. What they really love about TAMOS, this wonderful location and its environment, the safety, the teachers, the quality of the education. This is a pattern. We're always looking for patterns because that way we know we're more reliable. So we've had lots of discussions, lots of conversations with staff, with parents and students. So we feel very confident that the students are well looked after, supported for their future, and they're in a very safe and loving environment.
Of course, going through this very detailed and I would say tough process requires a lot of energy and a lot of time, a lot of resources, and it is not about just administration doing all of that. It's not just about teachers doing all the work. So how much our community should support all of us basically in order to be fruitful, successful at the end of the process? What should we do as community?
It's a really important question because if your community understands it, it's completely relevant to everybody in the community. that we've got standards to also inform learning as a learning community, the safety of the entire community, the inclusion of the entire community, then your community will understand, whether that's students, whether that's parents or staff or support staff or leaders, the benefit is for everybody. And schools that are accredited as part of this process, they feel they really belong to the school. They feel they have a voice in the improvement of the school and the development. So how can they get involved? Very different levels. I mean, one way is to involve yourself in what we call the self-study committees, which will be groups of volunteers coming together to share ideas about what's working really well, areas about improvement. Some of those suggestions that may come from those processes may form the school's action plan or its development plan or its strategic plan. So you may have a really bright idea that the school develops or the leadership team accepts the idea and makes a big and significant change. So the beauty of this is it's like holding a mirror to the community and the voice of the community. And that change then comes from within the community. So whereas CIS will bring in volunteers and trained evaluators, we may have some ideas and we'll share best practice from around the world. Very often the changes themselves are actually the ideas of the community, and schools listen very carefully. So one thing you can always do is volunteer or promote or encourage. When the school sends out a community survey, please do take it, please do give your feedback, because it could actually benefit the children very, very directly.
Okay, so basically that means that at the beginning of the membership stage, it was leadership's decision to realize the importance of going through such accreditation. So we used a top-down approach, but when our critical friends arrived, the CIS accreditation arrived, they made us realize that now it should be bottom-up approach.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Which means that everyone is welcome. We need all of you, the entire community. We need parents, we need students, we need staff and administration, and everyone is welcome. So we are all on board as one team.
Absolutely, absolutely. The engine of change is within the school, and it's the people. And if you've got a school of 3,200 students, plus hundreds of staff, plus hundreds of parents, it is amazing what the school can do in the level of transformation in a short period of time. The school is already working at a really great platform. It's a very good school, and by working together as a community can become an outstanding school in many areas. So I'm really excited about how the community will work together as part of this process. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
A pleasure.
Okay.